Welcome, explorers, and in today's show, we're going to be going over some fun memories of Star Wars Celebration and some really useful top tips for the upcoming Japan celebration. Stay tuned for more. Hello, explorers, and welcome to episode 48. And as always, joining me today is the ever so charming lady herself. It's Taylor.
Hello there.
And as normal, in his Emperor's phone, gazing down on his loyal subjects, it's the Dark Lord himself, Jimmy.
Howdy.
Awesome. So, how's everyone's weeks been? Are you feeling a lot better now, Taylor?
I'm feeling better, but I'm still sick. Like my one ear is completely plugged. And I might cough a couple times, but I'm on the mend.
Good to hear. Good to hear. How about you, Jimmy?
Yeah, doing all right. Getting ready for a big week coming up with school and swimming and podcasting because last week was insane, and I think this week will be insaner.
Yeah, for
So,
sure.
how about you, Jack?
Yeah, last week was crazy. We went nuts on the socials, the amount of Star Wars stuff that was coming. You know, that train kept going and going, and we didn't even have a chance to get off. So, yeah, it was absolutely
bonkers.
mental. Yeah, really good, though. Really good. As always, then, we've got a whole bunch of new explorers joining us. So, again, big thank you to everybody. So, thank you to the following in particular. So, we've got Tiffany Cat Smith, Shed Poles, Scott Caswell, Nick Wooderson, Joe Versku, Simon Foran Medhurst, Simon Spencer, Gracie Hill, Chris Corbus, Rebecca Stadler, Scott Wainwright, the Clan Brandalorian, and Helen Cooper Smith.
Wow. Thank you all, guys and girls, for joining. We really do appreciate it when you guys join and you share. And we love hearing from you guys. And we're just building this amazing community, and it's so fun. Well, I guess we're going to be making a whole lot of more Star Wars goodness in the future. So thanks for jumping on, guys.
Yeah. Yes, thanks everybody. Make sure you like Jack says, all the socials and things like that. Hop on them, get active. If you have topics, if you have things you want to talk about, or, questions about anything, let us know. We'd love to chat with you. I know I've been chatting with a few people, Gracie and Rebecca, just this week on some things. We're talking about Tales of the Empire and some other stuff. So That's been pretty fun. I'd like to bring some of that stuff to the show if we can.
Awesome. Again, thank you so much. If you're the first time listener, make sure you tune into our socials on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, and Threads. Explore the Force, all one word, Explore the Force. Again, thank you so much. We are almost at 500 followers on our Instagram and almost at 300 followers on the Facebook. And I think we're 168, I think it is on YouTube at the minute. So Keep those numbers climbing. Thank you so much. And when we do get to the 500 mark, we are going to be doing a special little prize giveaway as well to a couple of the explorers on that. So again, just a little gratitude from us to you. Thank you so much for the support. It means the world. Awesome. So this week then we're going to head over and have a look at what Force encounters we have got.
All right, so one Force encounter is how much Star Wars we covered last week. I just don't understand why they don't spread it out a little bit. I mean, please. But even as a fan, it was hard to keep up. And then trying to make videos and social posts and things like that, very difficult. But I will say that I think I might have a Star Wars problem, guys. I don't know if you guys know this, but today in church...
Oh my goodness.
Oh no.
So, they're reading through some stuff, coming off Easter, and they're still doing some things with like doubting Thomas. I don't want to get religious or anything like that on the show, but there was just this mention, and Thomas goes, "We don't know the way," and I almost shouted, "This is the way." And I was like, "Oh, thank goodness. Thank you, God, for not having me scream that out loud in the middle of church." Because, I went to react immediately because, anytime anyone says something like that, I react. And then there were some other things. It was really weird.
Yeah.
And I don't want to bring it into it, but like there was just so many things today that kept reminding me of the Jedi, and it was really weird today in church.
At that point, you'd be looking around as well, seeing who else.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh no,
You
I've got
were
a
exploring
problem.
the
So
Force this
yeah,
week.
my Force encounter is I might need to get some therapy or something for Star Wars. But
Nah.
what about you, Taylor?
I was actually a guest on the Pod Awakens this week.
Ooh.
Jordan's episode is going to be releasing on Friday, but we chatted The High Republic and we specifically Into the Dark by Claudia Gray. I've read that book 3 times, so it was like perfect for me to be on. But I got to meet some new friends and chat Star Wars, so that was super fun. What about you, Jack?
Awesome. Yeah, not too much really. I got talking to some old friends that work in the cinema and stuff like that, and I managed to bag a poster or 2 of the Phantom Menace 25th anniversary. It's coming out.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, quite fortunate to get my hands on that. But apart from that, not a great deal. Apart from the other week of chaos of Star Wars that we've been pushing out. So yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. You guys covered it so well. I was so busy at work with spring break and just every single staff member being completely sick. So I've been like really out of the loop.
Okay, so let's see then what news we've got coming out of Batuu this week then.
The Hollywood has reported that Lucasfilm has hired co-writer Beau Willimon, sorry if I'm destroying that name, for the Dawn of the Jedi project. Star Wars fans should be familiar with Willimon because he was the Narkina 5 arc writer for Andor Season 1. And oh my gosh, that was such a good episode. And that's also where we got the famous One Way Out. So everyone should be recognizing this name and being super excited for this.
Yeah, really excited to see what they can bring to the Dawn of the Jedi project.
Yeah.
Very excited about that. What about you, Jimmy?
Yeah, I was pumped. I mean, it's nice to know that they're still pushing forward with this because it is Star Wars and Lucasfilm, and things just disappear. So to know that this project is still underway, it makes me happy. I know that he's got to be finishing up. I think the director is working on a Bob Dylan documentary or a movie. So then as soon as he's done with that, his attention is going to be turned to this. So that's exciting.
Yeah.
Nice. What other news have we got?
All right. Well, we've said this a bunch of times. This week was an absolute ton of releases, a bunch of news. And then the big one was Tales of the Empire, which was announced to drop on May the 4th. If you want to, we did a quick 7-8 minute recap. We watched it. We gave our first reactions to it. I'm sure we get closer to May the 4th. We'll break it down a little bit more. Yep. But that looked really, really great. Taylor, what did you think? We didn't get to talk to you about it. What did you think of the trailer when you watched it?
I'm like blown away. The animation looks awesome. I don't know how Diana Lee kept this secret from me because I hung out with her for like a whole weekend at Fan Expo. But I'm just so excited because I think we're obviously going to find out why this character, the magistrate, owes so much to Thrawn, right? We don't know why. She literally died for him. So we're going to get some awesome answers here. And I mean, we didn't see any Ventress. So, but maybe she'll pop up. But I don't know. The one thing that threw me off was I was really expecting it to be like not the Empire. I was expecting it to be Tales of the Sith, right? Weren't we all expecting that?
Threw a lot of people off.
Yeah. And did anybody have any like idea that this was coming, or did it just like bang happen? Because I remember going on break and seeing 46 missed messages from you two, and you had already recorded your reaction to it, which is awesome. I don't know how you guys were able to do that, but
I mean, I didn't know it was coming. It just worked out for me that I had the time to do it, and then Jack, of course, being in a different time zone, that worked out for us to be able to jump on there and knock it out. So, Next bit of release news was about the incredibly popular TCG Star Wars Unlimited, with a new set being released in July called Shadows of the Galaxy. Again, something I know Jack is super hyped about.
Oh
Jack,
yeah.
tell me about Star
Yes.
Wars Unlimited. You've been doing a
Yeah.
ton of socials and
Yeah,
videos and things
loads.
like that.
All
Tell
on
us
our
about it.
YouTubes. All on the YouTubes. I'm going to do some more videos on it as well. Pat releases. The game is massive. It is taken off. There is literally shops and stores struggling to get stock in quick enough because it's just flying off the shelves big time.
Wow.
Luckily, I've got a friend that runs an awesome store for all your hobby needs, boards and swords in Derby, Ian Mann. Big shout out to him. Yeah, and the stuff that they're pumping out is incredible. I wasn't too keen on it at first. I didn't really want to get into it because of stuff that I've done before, like Magic the Gathering and the hole it gets you into to an extent. But yeah, I've got one pack and I'm straight back in that hole. I've got decks that I want to play, tournaments I want to go to. It's just amazing. It's really easy to pick up. And the stuff that, again, just to announce a new set already, some of the cards, I think it's themed around bounty hunters and upgrades and stuff like that. So they showcase the Mandalorian and Moff Gideon.
Oh, that's so
Again, looks
fun.
incredible. So yeah, really, really good. I know you're keen on getting into it eventually, aren't you, Jimmy?
Yeah, because I don't remember. I think Saturday I went to pick up my comics, and they were doing, like, it's also a gaming Wizards Asylum, which is becoming Wizards Alley, which will be the host
Nice.
of our trivia thing coming up here on May the 4th. But
Fun.
they were having like a little like intro to it, and they had all the cards out, and they were being like
Nice.
super friendly. Because I mean, I told them like I don't really get into the card games and stuff like that, but it being Star Wars, I'm kind of like maybe. So this summer when I have a little bit more free time, I'll be at
Definitely.
the Wizards Alley, probably playing some Star
It's
Wars
definitely
Unlimited.
worth getting the starter pack, even if it's just for you and Hank. Who knows?
Yeah.
Who
Yeah.
knows? Cool. Last bit of news that we've got then is 2 months after the announcement of The Mandalorian and Grogu, Disney have finally confirmed that it will be released on May 22nd in 2026. Yes, 2026. Again, us along with other people have predicted this. It's not a great deal of surprise or news, to be honest, but it does give us confirmation that it is coming out.
Hmm.
2026 as well, 2 years away, give or take. Do you think we'll see a sneak peek at Celebration?
No, oh, maybe. I guess it'll be a year, and then it'll be a year away.
I don't know. I
So
mean, I mean, they'll have filming. I don't know. I'm a little disheartened by this. Like, this is the first thing we're getting, like
Yeah,
2026.
yeah,
yeah, I'm
So,
not even super
but yeah,
confident that it's
maybe.
going to happen. So
yeah. I think it'll
I don't
definitely
know.
happen. But I get what you're saying, Jimmy, as well. But at the same time, I'm happy because if things get rushed, things can go wrong. Who
I
no,
knows? But
guess.
yeah,
I'm
as
not
you
super
put.
pumped from listening to a few people that we know that may or may not be working on it. A lot of volume might be involved, so I'm
yeah,
kind
Mm.
of.
yeah. We'll
I
see what
want,
happens.
but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Awesome.
I mean, I'm
So
gonna watch it.
yeah,
Yeah. Oh,
100%. We'll all be watching it,
yeah.
investing into it. Yeah, send us the merchandise while you're there. Awesome. So that's pretty much then all the news that we've got for you guys and girls. Okay, explorers. So the main part of the show, first and foremost, I'd like to introduce a very good friend of ours. It's Tony.
Hey, what's up, guys?
What's going on,
Thank you very
Tony?
much. Thank you very much, Tony, for coming on. As always, we always aim to do is help each other as well, promote our sites, etc., and podcasts and all that good stuff. So, Tony, the floor is yours. Introduce yourself, who you are, and obviously where all the listeners and that can find you.
Yeah, so my name's Tony from the Star Wars Sith YouTube channel. So, started my channel last year because of Star Wars Celebration. So, I started it to kind of cover it because not a lot of people have been to a celebration or even know what it is. So, started it there, and I basically, mainly cover that, other conventions like New York Comic Con, MegaCon, and then I kind of branched out to like toy hunts, unboxings, reaction videos, theory videos. So, like a little bit of everything Star Wars. So, a lot of fun. And yeah, that's pretty much what we do over there.
Nice. So make sure you check him out over there on YouTube. Make sure you're subscribing, like, share, comment as always, and also all over his Instagram as well. I obviously met Tony through him doing his celebration videos and stuff like that as well
Yeah.
for London. And then thankfully, I think it was on the last day. We was literally running up and down the hall and
Yeah.
literally bumped into each other for must have been 15 to 30 seconds chat.
Quick, yeah, it was
It-
super
yeah.
quick in the Funko booth. I think we were both like heading somewhere, and we talked for real quick,
Yeah.
and we both went our separate ways because I think it was the last day. So you're trying to,
Yeah.
get the last things that you wanted and all that stuff. Yeah,
Yeah. So
super
it was
funny.
it was literally a case of Tony, Jack, how you doing? Great, gotta
Yep.
go. Take care. Bye. Gone.
Yeah, yep.
So yeah, the beauty of Star Wars always bringing us together. So just before we jump into the main stuff of this week's show and we go through our fond memories of Star Wars Celebration, as always, the explorers on our sites, they've put up loads and loads of memories. We've got loads of pictures. So guys, girls, make sure you check our Facebook. There's loads of pictures out there. Me and Jimmy have waxed them up as well on our Instagram, as well as our Facebook. Just a few that we're going to be mentioning. So first off, Rob McCauley, who I was there with, I stopped over in a B&B with him. His highlight was the O2 concert that was after Celebration that we actually never even saw. We literally spent the whole time of the concert in the bar with the yak face Sean Crawford himself.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
A lot of the actors were coming to and from. Ewan McGregor was supposed to attend that. Unfortunately, didn't arrive. That'd have been awesome. He was like a secret guest.
Yeah.
Blue Harvest was the band. I can't remember what it's called now. I think it was Force Cantina or something like that.
Mhm.
And I managed to get the tickets there, but we spent the entire time in a booth just talking to Sean Crawford, and I think Brian Herring came along as well. I had a quick chat to
Wow.
him, and there was one of the hosts as well from the Galaxy Stage. His name forgets me, the Australian guy. Quite a nice chap to talk to as well. Another member, Conrad Prince. He met the maker, Glyn Dillon. So Glyn Dillon was the guy that basically designed the Shore Trooper armor. Conrad Prince is a massive cosplayer in the UKG that does a fantastic job of his Shore Trooper stuff. Stuart Logan, another good friend of mine, he helped organise the first independent worldwide Wookiee group with a guy called Paul Smith. Now, Stuart Logan's a really good friend of Ross Sandbridge as well. We had on the show. And basically, on that day, it was a picture of on the stairs of all the Wookiees. Stuart helped set that up, and that's when Jonas Smataro came out. Probably butchered that name, and basically just shook everyone's hand, had photos, and I managed to sneak a photo in with himself. Another
Nice.
person on here as well, we've got Nick Wooderson. His highlight was one of mine as well, was getting on stage during the Andor panel, because we did like a massive prisoner run. We all got on stage, had a photo. One was having a photo. The director came out, Diego Luna came out, all in the centre of us. Everyone just lost their mind.
Yeah.
That was absolutely crazy. Molly Hale, soon to be Fisher. Her highlight was getting proposed to by Scott Fisher in front of the whole UKG. So again, congratulations to them. So not long now before their big day. And the last one, special mention, Jimmy Adams. His highlight was meeting this big dumb Brit, aka me. So yeah, cheers for that one, Jimmy.
Yeah, good times.
Nice.
All right. Thanks, you guys, for those comments, memories. I know we had a blast there. If you still want to throw them up on our YouTube, up on our socials, make sure you tag us, Explore the Force. Make sure you involve Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Just like, subscribe, join in on the conversation.
Yeah, awesome. So what we're going to do now then is just talk about some of our fondest memories of Star Wars Celebration. Obviously, we've got Tony on the show. He's like the guru. He's definitely my 100% guru before I went to London. So hopefully, if anything, there's some little golden nuggets that you can take away in preparation, not just for Japan, but obviously future ones down the line as well, because a lot of the points that we'll bring up were definitely relevant going forward. Again, biggest highlight is the two guys sat in front of me already today. I say in front of me, but via the webcam, is just meeting Star Wars fans around the world. And it's incredible how it brings people together. This podcast wouldn't have started if I didn't meet Tony for one, and Jimmy for two, 110%, and Taylor. So yeah, just start us off. One of my fun highlights is just meeting the fans. What about you, Tony?
So that's probably one of the things for sure is just meeting people, because like every celebration I've been to, I meet somebody new and they're still in my life and still friends from 2017, from 2019, from 2022, from 2023. So that's probably the biggest thing, is that the friends and the people, but just some of like the panels that I was lucky enough to get into, like probably the best panel memory was Anaheim 2022, getting into that Lucasfilm panel where it started off with a choir singing Duel of the Fates, which is my favorite song,
Come on.
right? And then as soon as they finished singing, Hayden and Hewan came out on stage and invited us to come back to the red carpet Kenobi show that night to watch it with them, which was nuts. So that was already crazy. And then halfway through the show, the stage lifted up, spinned around, and it was John Williams with his orchestra. And they played a couple songs. They did the new Kenobi theme. And as he's playing music, freaking Harrison Ford walks out on stage to wish John Williams a happy birthday. So all these like special moments are all happening at once within an hour. And I almost cried like 3 times. It was just such an amazing experience because like seeing John Williams perform is like bucket list for me. So it was crazy just to be in a panel like that. And it was all because of Celebration.
Nuts. Absolutely crazy. What about you, Jimmy?
Yeah, I had to say the same thing. Just getting to meet people, some of the panels. You know, I've had my ups and downs with Star Wars Celebration, as we'll talk about later. But I will say that being with a lot of people who enjoy it, you know, that's kind of the best thing. I think watching the Rise of Skywalker trailer with 10,000 Star Wars fans.
Yes.
I mean, I was kind of moved. I'm getting goosebumps now thinking about it because I remember I was up on the cafeteria area, so I could see this the celebration stage, and they played it, and that place just went dead silent, and they showed it, and everyone was just like, "Oh!"
I was
of
there.
Course,
Oh my
God!
God!
And then what was it? Palpatine himself comes out, and he's like, "Roll it again," and he just everyone freaked out, and that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool to get to see, you know, that trailer with all those fans, and everybody was super excited, and it was still pretty positive, atmosphere to be a part of. So that was a lot of fun. But yeah, everyone has, there's some different stuff, but really it comes down to like people that you meet and talk to, and
100%.
So
100%. Yeah, there's, like I said, there's lots of fun memories. Again, just for me was the Narkina run that we did, like I mentioned, finishing up on stage, having the stars of that show coming out, Diego Luna. I absolutely love Andor. It's one of my favourite shows, so I got to lose my mind slightly there. But again, the biggest thing for me as well was sharing it with my son. We got to meet Ewan McGregor, got to meet Hayden Christensen, have a photo with them guys. R2's in the photo as well, because the COVID thing at the time, which was a bit odd if I'm honest, but we'll go into that later on. Ian McDermott, we've got a photo with him. We met no end of people, actors as well, and just people that you see these day in day out or whenever it is on the Disney shows, and then you see them in the flesh. I was lucky enough to have the UK garrison there as they're always there anyway, but they'd set up an awesome Wampa bar where all the droids were and all the characters, the bounty hunters there. They absolutely look sick as well. So it's good to walk around there. I know they had a few special visitors. And as you probably tell now as well, again, it's just for the listeners, that was my first celebration that I've been to was London. How many celebrations have you been to, Taylor?
None. They don't have any celebration over here in Canada. And
the reason I ask as well is this episode isn't just for everyone or people that are going to celebration. And like I'll come into and ask Taylor in a minute, what has been your favorite celebration moment, Taylor, with the ones that you've seen?
I watched Star Wars Celebration. I watched the live feed, and I had it right on my big screen TV, and I was chatting with Jack like 100% of the time. So I like always knew where Jack was, and even like watching other people were like streaming stuff. So, and I was like, there's Jack. He's the tallest runner. Like when he's doing the Narkina run. So my favorite part, I think, was just being included in Star Wars Celebration, even when I wasn't there. So yeah, I appreciate all of it because I was up at like 4:00 in the morning watching everything, and I almost felt like I was there because I had all my friends who were there messaging me constantly. So yeah.
Awesome. How many celebrations have you been to, Tony?
So I've been to 4. Orlando 2017 was my first one. Then I did Chicago 2019, Anaheim 2022, London 2023, and I am going to Tokyo next year for 2025. So
Sick.
Woo!
I'm not gonna miss the next one unless I'm dead. So I'll be there at Celebration, man.
Touch wood. Touch wood. What about you, Jimmy?
Yeah, so my adventure started with Chicago. I thought this is a once in a lifetime opportunity, and then I found myself at Anaheim. I thought, wow, 2 times is a good enough. And I found myself at London, and then I find myself planning for Japan and trying to talk my wife into it. So, yeah, I've been to 3, planning for the 4th. Uh, um, but yeah, lots of good memories. And I mean,
Awesome.
I
Awesome.
honestly thought it was going to be like a once in a lifetime. Like I'll just do this once and get it under my belt. But man, there's just so much you want to keep doing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Unreal. Right, so we've got a couple of topics to help the listeners as well, and obviously just go over a few things we're going to be talking about on the show. The first we're going to talk about is probably the biggest thing is actually getting tickets for Celebration. Now, it was not say a worry, but definitely a concern of mine when I first wanted to go to London is the date, the time, when I need to be on, what I needed, and just in a nutshell for myself is the best bit of advice I could say is just remain calm. You know, it may not
Yep.
work out for you, and if it doesn't matter. All right, there's plenty of other things going on. It didn't work out for me for Star Wars London because I originally went for the Jedi VIP tickets, but for whatever reason, when I pressed submit pay or whatever it was with my details, the web page had crashed, so I didn't get
I
what I
think it happened
wanted.
to everyone.
Yeah, and then by the time I got back on the page, they'd sold out, they'd gone. So you have got to be quick. Make sure you understand the dates. Make sure you understand the times, just in
Yeah, I
case
missed it
anything
for
changes.
London.
Yeah,
I miss London. I don't know how. I mean, I wasn't really planning on going, but if you have even a little bit of thought that you want to go, you got to buy tickets that first day. I got
Yep.
fortunate because of our friends over at Star Wars Sessions. We were able to like through them. I was able to find tickets and things like that. So otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to go.
what about you, Tony?
So that's crazy. You even got the VIP into your cart. I've never even seen it to add it to my cart.
Yeah.
So that's a feeling I haven't felt yet. But no, it can be stressful. But as long as you plan it, the at least they gave us like a month notice this time because for Chicago, for Anaheim, for London, they let you know 24 to 48 hours. So it was like Monday, hey, tickets go on sale Wednesday at noon. So it's like, oh, I got to switch work. I got to make sure I'm home on my good Wi-Fi. At least for this, you know, May 2nd, 7 p.m. Eastern. So like right away, I made sure I was either off or opening that day. And then what I recommend for that day is be on an hour before, make sure everything's working, have a couple browsers up on your computer. If you have a tablet, if you have a phone, it'll give you a better chance. But honestly, if you're on right before it drops, you should be fine. The cool thing with Japan pricing, the 3-day pass is almost the same price if you buy 3 single-day passes. It's only like $7 cheaper, which isn't the case in the past. It was always like you save 15 to 20 per day.
Yeah.
So it's almost like if you're going for the 3-day, you're better off just buying 3 single days for like $2 more a day, and you get 3 cool badges with 3 different arts on it. So there's a lot of good chances with Japan for sure. But for VIP, good luck because
Yeah,
Good luck.
that sold out.
good luck.
I think
Half an hour.
Chicago that sold out in like 45 seconds.
Yeah, it's
what
under
someone said, 'cause
it's under a minute.
It's like
Yeah,
less than a minute. I don't know how those people get the tickets. Like it's
they
You know
limit
what?
it as
I
well
bet
per
you
person,
that
I believe.
I
it's
bet
4
you
per
they
person
released
for
it a little bit
VIP.
earlier for other people too, like stars or whoever, like higher up people must get first dibs
well,
on
this
it
is
or
just normal
something.
people getting these tickets though. But yeah, I don't know. They sell out super quick. You can try
Yeah.
for one, but
But just remain calm. Obviously, take the tips up with what we've all said as well. Again, I was lucky enough
Yeah.
because on that same day, my wife's dad and my son James were on their phone anyway. I was at a meal, funnily enough, with the wife. And they
well,
managed to bag
yeah,
the 3-day tickets. So
and it's changed a bunch because like Chicago, I bought my tickets day of, and then I
yeah,
bought Danny, Jacob, and Braden's, some former students / athletes of mine. I bought their tickets like 2 or 3 weeks later, I think, and had no problem getting
Yeah.
tickets.
Didn't
Now
Wow.
it's
yeah.
gone. Yeah.
Yeah. It'll go
So
fast. Awesome.
yeah.
The next thing we'll bring up, and I think it's going to be really easy. Me and Tony talk about it off air. Is going to be your accommodation and hotels. Now, one of the big points again that I found in London was scams. I don't think there's so much relevant in Japan, to be honest. But what was happening in London was, and it happened to me, is we'd paid for an Airbnb. We were good to
Ooh.
go. A month before, they decided to message me and say, "Look, we want an extra £300-400 because they realised what was going on." Obviously, I refused that, being the straight bloke that I am. So they just cancelled my booking flat out, bosh, took it away from me. But we were fortunate enough to get another place literally down the road. And the person that I got it off was a person who had tickets for Star Wars Celebration. So again, trust in the Force. It will guide you. Funnily enough, the person that had tickets for Celebration didn't end up going because he had to go to a wedding with his family.
Ooh.
But
Ugh.
yeah, look out for Airbnb. Make sure it's protected. Make sure that you're paying with stuff that is protected, like credit cards are normally protected, I believe. Yeah, just be careful. But in terms of accommodation, stuff like that in Japan, I know you've looked at a whole load already, Tony, haven't you?
So I've looked into it. I haven't booked it yet because it won't let you book yet. I think next month we could start booking. But yeah, I'm terrified of Airbnbs. I never really booked them like regularly, but I had friends in London that got canceled,
Yeah.
and like that's one thing. Like there's a chance. Like I don't want to go from Florida to Tokyo and all of a sudden don't have nowhere to stay last minute. So
Yeah.
I'm staying
That's
at
terrifying.
hotels. Yeah, that's scary. You're in a
Yeah, I've
foreign
been-
country and all of a sudden you have nowhere to stay.
I
So
can't
I'm
speak
booking.
anything other than English, so I'm like, I'm lost.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm booking my hotels through like regular chain hotels through Expedia.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm doing, and I'm gonna split up my trip. So I'll be in like the center of Tokyo for like 4 days, then Osaka for 2 days, and then the last 4 days I'll be staying in Chiba, which is right next to the convention center, because
Nice.
I'm gonna walk to the show every day. That way, if I get
Yeah.
tired and need a nap or I want to drop some stuff off, I could just walk back to the hotel real quick.
Yeah.
That is so smart.
What about you, Jimmy? You looked at anything hotel wise?
I have never used the hotels through Star Wars Celebration. They are so expensive. Like
Yeah.
it is. I mean, it's kind of ridiculous. And I've always done Airbnb. Like I stayed in Cicero in Chicago, which was cool as a history teacher, staying where Al Capone ran things, and then. I was telling you guys off the air, I thought I was in a nice place in Anaheim. Like the house was nice, the owner was nice, and then we kind of found out we may or may not have been in a rough part of outside of Anaheim, and we were like 10 minutes away from the convention center and Disney, so that was a little
Yeah.
strange to me. And I'm trying to think. So Anaheim, yeah, and then we did the same thing in London. We found a flat, and it was pretty cool. I do like it because you get a little bit of like I got to see what if you go to a hotel in London, you don't see what a flat looks like in London.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was kind of cool. Different things like that. You just kind of see how different people live their lives. But I do understand like being afraid. I've never had that happen, knock on wood. And I know that I've already started looking for Airbnbs outside of, but there is a drawback. Like Tony kind of said, like you usually are like 10, 15 minutes away. So getting back and forth can be, I mean, Uber's perfectly fine, but it would be nice just to be able to like walk out my hotel room and go right into the convention center and
Yep.
stuff like that. I mean, especially for like if you cosplay and things like that, and you want to
Yes.
drop off all your gear. That's
Yep.
nice, but I can't imagine I'm going to lug that stuff all the way to Japan. Especially it's only 3 days. I think I'll just get after it. But yeah,
Yeah.
Nice.
so
Cool. Next thing we'll go on to then, again, we're just covering these quite briefly, is another biggie. And probably everyone's next concern after those two things are sorted, so the tickets are done, your hotels are done, is probably the flights as well. Again, for us
Lord.
in the UK,
Oh,
we
gosh.
can't book anything yet. We've got to be a year out exactly. So, in terms of
Mhm.
flights, nothing great. Now, for me, for the UK, I've done a little bit of research. I was telling Tony to get off air. Is if you book indirectly, so I'm looking at going to China first and then going from China to Japan. Last night I looked at one way and it was £300. Now I've had friends that have gone to Japan as well from the UK for return. One guy was £600 and another guy I think was £1,200 as well. And these are indirect flights
Yeah.
going from the UK to China to Japan. So there is methods and means. Now, for the guys and girls in the States, how's that going to work for you?
Mm.
I usually
So
set mine up.
Yeah.
yeah,
It's
I've
cheaper
been
not to like buy a direct flight to Japan. Like I'll piece mine together typically.
Yeah.
yeah, when I was looking, I didn't see like any direct. Well, at least from where I'm at, there was nothing direct. Maybe like on the West Coast, there might be direct, but for me, I researched a bunch of airlines, and the best one that I found was called ANA Airlines. So I'm 100% booking with
American
them because
Airlines.
yeah, ANA. I think it stands for Air Nippon Airlines
Oh,
or something like
ANA.
that.
Oh,
But
it's
yeah,
Okay.
like
Nepal.
Anna. Yeah, that
Nepal.
one. So
Yeah.
the reason I like them is I watch videos of people flying in their like cheap base economy, and their base economy is bigger than a regular economy in the US. So right off the beginning, I'll have more space. You get 2 luggage each way included with the price, which is great because I'm gonna need that luggage for everything I'm gonna buy in Japan.
Bring back.
And the only thing that sucks though is just it's about like 1700 round trip from Florida to Tokyo, which is wild. London, I think I paid like 800 round trip,
Yeah.
nonstop.
Nice.
So Japan is more than double, but that's the only like crazy price to get to Japan. Everything else there is like super cheap and affordable, but it's just that flight
Mm.
is gonna get you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you,
Well,
Taylor? Have you
in
looked from
it,
Canada?
yeah, I looked, and the cheapest that I could find was $21.95 for a round trip from Canada,
Ugh.
Vancouver. So my husband's like beating himself over the head, like, what are you thinking? But I did look, and it is like, I think it's like $800 cheaper if I were to go over to Washington, Bellingham, and fly to Bellingham. So, which is probably what I'm going to do.
Oh,
So,
nice.
but I haven't looked into like connecting flights yet. So maybe I need to look a little bit better. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Nice. Cool. Yeah, so that's obviously your flights. Again, Tony brought it up. It's a good point as well. Is just be aware of your luggage. I know in the UK there's certain allowances and stuff like that. So just be aware if you're going to
mm,
get a lot of stuff and bring it back from Japan, which Tony definitely will be.
Oh
Make sure
yeah.
you've got your
Oh my
yeah.
allowance
god.
covered because you don't want to spend all that money and then get charged and not be able to bring stuff back or paying more money to get the stuff back. So
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and make
really
sure
good
you
point that
lock up
Tony.
your
Just
bags too, because people who
100%.
Oh yeah.
I don't even want to say it, but people who work at airports sometimes can like open your bag and grab stuff out. Because when I went to Mexico, I got my hair straightener stolen. My
Oh.
my husband had an iPad in his for us to watch a movie or something, and it just totally got swiped out of the bag. Like, what the heck? And that's
Wow.
with Air
Yeah, don't do
Canada.
that.
Do not book with Air Canada. They lost my bag on the way back as well. Horrible
Cool.
experience.
Mm.
Cool. Right. Next thing I'll talk about, again, it's probably only, well, in fact, it's not relevant to me actually, is bringing loved ones and stuff like that. The only reason I mention this is because I took my son last year to London. Not a massive drama in terms of flights nor hotels, but obviously something I'd recommend because I've seen it on people's posts as well, asking about the kids, what do they recommend, etc., etc. Now, certain ages don't need tickets, and I think it's 9 and below off the top of my head.
I think
It's 9.
isn't it like under 6? Isn't it like
Might be
6 and
Yeah, it might be
under?
6.
I think it's
Yeah.
6.
Yeah.
So age 6 and below. Obviously, you don't need to get them
Reed
tickets.
Pop
Or anything
wants
like
their
that.
money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. But be aware, bring their passports or some form of identification just in case they get checked for their
Yeah.
ID. I definitely did just in case my lad James got ID'd. Again, I recommend Star Wars Celebration for the kids 110%.
Yeah.
The only thing I will say is just be a bit cautious of your kids now. Being the great dad that I am, we hit Star Wars Celebration pretty hard. We were up at
James
the
was
crack of
wiped
dawn.
out by
I
like day
remember
2.
he was
He
so
was.
tired. I remember you went and left him back at
And we
the
had
hotel
4
to
days of
sleep.
it. Yeah, and there were times like I mentioned about the concert, the O2 call. We weren't getting back till 1 a.m. Now my wife found out about this. He's still okay. So yeah, we did some great stuff. He's got some awesome memories. I recommend it, but just be a bit conscious of your kids and stuff like that. He's fine because he told me, but again, I reckon probably 10 and under. You know, just have an eye on your kid at all times in terms of fatigue and stuff like that. Because again, the excitement really gets to you, and you can see it with James. Even as adults, your adrenaline in those sort of places is absolutely buzzing. But as soon as you come outside and that fresh air hits you, that is boom.
You're done.
Time.
Yep.
That is definitely the time. Awesome. What about you guys? Now, obviously, Jimmy, you want to speak about your wife taking Molly?
Yeah, so Molly and I went to Anaheim, and we've gone to London together, and my sister Becky has come. So Molly, she enjoys Star Wars. You know, she came. She actually made me spend more money the one day she came to London. She's like, buy that, get this, get that. Like I spent like zero bucks, and she's like, we got into the store and we're just buying all kinds of stuff. So
I
I'm like, I'm taking
remember
you from
that
now on.
actually.
But yeah. So you know, for me, like if you have a significant other that doesn't like necessarily like love Star Wars or whatever, my sister and her will go. Like when they went to Anaheim, I mean, they went out to like the Katina Islands. They did all kinds of like sightseeing things. Then we could meet back up because I mean, it does end at like 6 or 7 o'clock, so you have time to do stuff in the evening. I think we
Yep.
went and saw a baseball game while we were out there in Anaheim.
That's fun.
Nice.
And then in London, of course, I mean, we got there a little bit early to do stuff together. And then her and my sister, Becky, they went. And I mean, I think my sister walked like 13 miles one day, just sightseeing and
Wow.
walking from place to place. And so, yeah, it can be fun. You know, it doesn't have to be like just you. You don't have, you know, it would help if everyone that you're going with loves Star Wars, but there are things to do. And it's not it's not like a 9 to 9 at night event.
Yeah.
It ends at a reasonable like dinner
Yeah.
hour, and you can go out and you can do things. And some of the after hour stuff, like in London, was a blast. Right? I mean, we
Yeah.
had a great time.
Mm.
Didn't do a ton of that in Anaheim and Chicago because I didn't really know a lot of people. But as the more you go, especially after a year of podcasting, like we have all these friends, and like I'm gonna want to be with them.
Yeah.
So,
Oh my gosh, it's gonna be so fun.
yeah, I definitely bring whoever, and I would say that like with little kids and things like that, I mean they do have areas for them at Celebration. They have like little kid stuff that they can
Yeah, it's
do,
like the
but
Padawan
it
training
would
and
be
stuff. Yeah.
I think I'd be terrified of taking my kid because like if it's like London had zero space, like you couldn't move.
Oh, so
I remember
And I
hearing
wouldn't
those
want to have
complaints. Yeah.
I would have a death grip on my kid if they were young,
Yeah.
you know.
I just got
So
him to walk in front
but
of me. I cleared the way.
yeah,
What
but
about you, Tony? Are you taking any loved ones, kids, or anything like that, or are you just saving up all your money for the merch?
All my money's going for the merch. So every celebration that I've been to, I've gone with my buddy Ricky. So he's going. I know this time though he's bringing his girlfriend with him, which she's a fan too, so she's cool. But I'm actually bringing my younger brother. So this
Nice.
will be his first celebration. So he's like 22. So he has
Oh,
his own
yeah.
money. So he'll be able to like you can buy your
Yeah.
own stuff. That's fine. But
Mhm.
he'll be coming with me. So it'll be fun for him to experience his first celebration, and he's big on anime, so he's gonna
Oh,
go
man, yeah.
nuts in Japan.
It's
Oh
gonna
my
be
So
gosh, he's
wild
gonna
over
love
there.
it's gonna
it.
be wild.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
I
The
can't
gonna be
cosplay in
wait.
one.
Japan, the
It's gonna
cosplay in
be
Japan is going to be insane.
intense. Yeah, I can't
Oh,
wait to see
Like
it.
they just next
Oh
level.
god,
Yep.
yeah,
Just
big
I
time.
can't even the people over there who aren't like super Star Wars fans, they're going to gear up for it, and you're going
Yeah.
to see some stuff I don't think you'll see anywhere else.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
So
What about you,
yeah, I
Taylor?
feel
Are you
like we're
going by
gonna see like a
yourself?
ton of yeah, well my daughter just like she's 5, so it would be way too much for her. I've also never flown anywhere with her, so I probably would I don't know. Not that she wouldn't have fun. My daughter loves Star Wars, but I think it's just it would be way too overwhelming for her. And I would absolutely love to take my husband and he would love to go to Japan, but I don't like he's also a Star Wars fan, but I don't think he would want to go to Celebration because that makes
Yeah.
him crazy, right? But so then it'd be like,
Mhm.
okay, you come and then sightsee by yourself, but then I'm trying to convince him to sightsee with Molly. So it might just be me coming though. Let's be honest. It's going to be just me.
Nice.
I will bring Hank to the next one in the United States, though.
Yes.
That's my
Yeah.
plan. Hank the Tank will be joining me. I know he's had an absence from the show for a while, but he will be
has.
joining us
We'll get him his own booth.
soon. Yeah, we'll just set up a. People will be signing up to get his autograph.
Yeah. Hank the Tank. Love it. Awesome. Cool. So the next bit that we're gonna discuss then again is quite an important bit. Something that people go absolutely crazy for is how the lottery works. Now,
Oh,
the
yeah.
lottery some people think is a good thing. Some people think it's a bad thing. And me personally, I'd probably say it's okay. I'm a bit caught in the middle, and I know the
Mhm.
lottery though it wasn't a thing for Chicago. Am I right in saying, or did it start at Chicago?
It started there.
It
Yeah.
started, and it was different in Chicago, and it was different in Anaheim, and it was different
Brilliant.
in
So you run with
so
this then, Jimmy. You let the guys and girls know how it was different and what it is.
well, if I'm correct, Tony, there was no lottery. You just sat in a line, and you could be there for like 12 hours, right, waiting to get into panels and things like that.
Starting in Orlando, yeah, people stayed overnight in Orlando to get into the
Yeah.
panels.
So so that's what to me, like, that stuff's fun. Like, that's used to be like, going to an actual midnight showing of a new movie and things like
Yeah.
that. You're in
Yeah.
line for a few hours, but the downside of that is that if you're in line for 24 hours, you've just missed an entire day of Star Wars Celebration.
Yeah.
So I think that the lottery system works. Man, it's so weird to me though. I don't, they say it's all random. I have a hard time believing, because like some people would get, for London, some people got like everything, and then people got nothing. I feel like there's a better system of like, they need to work on the system where they kind of even things out.
Yeah.
Chicago, the only thing I didn't get into was the Rise of Skywalker panel. So I was like, oh, I love the lottery. I got Funko, I got Lego, I was in, Fallen Order. I mean, I was like, I love this. But then in Anaheim, I got nothing.
Yeah.
And then you had to do the online, because that was the one where you had to like get up in the morning and do like online
for
the
last
panels.
minute.
And like,
yeah.
so like I'd be there with Danny and Jacob, and we'd all hit the button at the same time. And one of them would be like 1,000th in line. I'd be like 5,000th in line. And as soon as you see that number, you're done. Like you're not getting anything. And it was a little defeating. And then London, of course, they kind of went back to like Chicago style, I would think. And they kind of like, because I liked knowing what I was going to do, because you do have to plan out your day.
Yep.
And so the lottery does help you, like, all right, I'm going to do this. I'm going to try for this panel.
Yeah.
I'm going to get there super early, get in the front queue, whatever. But I do think the lottery system needs some adjustment. I have a hard time believing in that it's the best it can be. I feel like they should do like, you get one thing and then you get moved to the end of the line and someone else gets something and everyone gets filled up. But it does beat having to sit in in a line, because you imagine if it's cold or raining like that would be, I mean, you still stand in the line for what in London, we'd get there outside of the place, the convention, the Excel Center, 2 or 3 hours ahead of time. Now that was fun because we had like 10 or 15 people that we were all with. Then you got inside and you waited another 2 or 3 hours. And that's where James and I spent a ton of time talking about stuff during that. So you're already standing in line, then you run out of that, you're standing in another line, so it's a lot of line standing, but I don't know. I mean, I do see the advantages of it. I do think it needs to be worked out. And once it'll get established, like they'll start releasing things closer to the start of Celebration, so you kind of know. But and I can't say how it's going to be. Like, it's been different. The last 4, I think, have been different from going from not having it to having the day of to. So,
what do you think,
a little
Tony?
bit crazy.
Yeah, so like it's funny. I think Chicago, how they did it there was the best, because like I won like the Mando panel, the Phantom. I got into Funko. I won Hasbro. So it's great when you're
It
winning.
was awesome.
But
Yes.
Anaheim, I got a Jedi VIP last minute, like the day before.
Oof.
But my 4-day pass, I entered and lost every panel, which was crazy. I didn't get not one. I did win Funko though, but like with Funko, I won 2 days, which it kind of like what you were saying, Jimmy. Being fair, I didn't need 2 days. I just gave it to my friend, so I won 2 days at Funko when that could have went to somebody else. To be fair, and then London, we had VIP. We got lucky again. So what was weird with London, they let VIPs into Funko every morning, which they've never done anything like that before.
Yeah, it was so weird. And they don't want scalpers, but you can't let the same people go in and grab everything new that's set up.
Yeah, so like that made no sense to me. I didn't find that out till the second day, and when I found out, I literally just, all my friends back in the States, I'm like, you guys want anything? I could get in every day. And every day I went in and got 2 for a different set of friends, and just gave it to them for retail, because like there was no effort. But that's one thing you got to keep in mind is the raffle system will be there for Japan in some way, shape, or form. But honestly, with the panels, if you don't win, it's kind of a blessing, because in London, even though we had VIP, we went to every panel, and you spend so much time in lines, even if you have VIP, because for VIP, you got to get there a half hour before the panel starts. So you're waiting in the VIP line to get in, and then you got to wait another half hour till the show starts. So it's like I spent so much time rushing to get there early, waiting for the panel to start, when I could have spent more time on the show floor. So for Japan, I kind of don't want to do as many panels, and I want to spend more time on the floor because it's only 3 days. So it could be a gift and a curse winning those lotteries.
It
Yeah.
definitely depends on what you're into. But like I know, like our Johnny O was like, oh, I don't really like panels, but then he went to that panel and he was like, oh, I was like blown away by it. So I think it just it all depends on how, like, what you get into, and
Yep.
what you're
I
into.
can't
If you're there to
remember which
buy stuff,
panels.
then stay away from panels. If you're there to buy stuff, if you're
Yeah.
there to like get news and information, like like we'll be there kind of on the job, I guess you want to call it. So we'll be trying to report a little bit, and hopefully between three of us we can like lock down something.
Yeah,
But,
right. Like at least
yeah.
we have like like a 3 chances, and I guess like not all of us are going to get to go to the same panel, so we're going to have to split up a little bit too during the days, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm going to be
that's why I
so
enjoyed the London
lost.
one, 'cause I can't remember what panels I got off the top of me, because I queued for some and managed to get in them. But I like the fact that I was able to ask for them. If I didn't get them, whatever, I could still plan my day. So that worked for me and my
Yeah.
son. But yeah, like Tony was saying as well, and Jimmy, if you don't get the panels, it's not the end of the world at all by a long shot. There's plenty to see and do.
Right.
And,
just make
yeah,
lots of friends,
just be
and
kind
one
and
of your friends
courteous
will
as
get to
well.
go.
That's it. That's it. Always ask about. I mean, there's people as well that were on the show floor that didn't want to go in the panels that they got, and were giving them their passes, etc. That I know of. So again, just don't be too disheartened about it at all. The next one we'll talk about quite quickly as well. Not really much to say on this. It's just food and water. It's just the basics. Just stay hydrated. Make sure you eat a breakfast.
That is super important, I think, because I know that sounds weird, but here comes the coach side of me. In Anaheim, like I got so flustered, and I realized I wasn't eating because, like you said, everyone said on here, like you are rushing from place to place. Like you're rushing here, then you're gonna go get your autograph, and you gotta go get your photo taken. You gotta
You've got
run over here to
adrenaline.
buy
You're
this,
shaking.
and then to get food, that's another hour of line waiting. So you have to plan. I started sneaking, like not sneaking. They don't really check your bags like for food and stuff, but I put water and granola bars in there.
Yep.
At Anaheim, I was almost like I was pretty angry at Anaheim, and I realized I hadn't eaten, hadn't drank anything, and I was just like, and then things weren't going my way at Anaheim, and I was super frustrated. I was like, I'm never going back to a celebration again, and it was all mostly because of like I wasn't fueled properly. Wasn't hydrated. I remember, drinking a Gatorade, and I was like, "Oh, I feel so much better now." And it seems stupid, but it works both ways too, though. Because if you're going,
100%,
the crash will be just as hard.
You're
No,
not yourself
Jimmy,
without food. Have an O. Henry.
you're so right. It happened in Anaheim the first day. I didn't eat until maybe like 5 at night while waiting in line to get into the Kenobi red carpet, because you're so busy. Like the first day we got there, there's the panel at 11. So as soon as we got in at 10, we went right to the panel. Panel at 11. I think I might have had a photo at 12. Then I had like the Funko booth at 2. Then I had to do this at 3. And then we had to start lining up at 4 to get into Kenobi at 5. So like I hadn't ate the whole day, and we're waiting in line to get into the Kenobi. So there was like a little food thing there. So all I was able to get was a king size Kit Kat and some popcorn. So I had to have Kit Kat and popcorn to hold me down, because I wasn't gonna miss watching the first 2 episodes of Kenobi with the whole crew. So then we got out of that at like 7 or 8 at night, Ubered back to the hotel. Then we finally got to eat. So I was very hangry by then. So that's the biggest thing. Wake up early, eat a big
100%.
breakfast. If your hotel or wherever you're staying has food, take it, load it up in your bag, and then always bring a water bottle to fill up so you can stay hydrated, and you'll be good. But that's the biggest thing, is having snacks, because you won't have time to eat. And when you do have time, it's an hour line to get food.
Yeah.
Just like the panels.
And
Yeah, it's a lot of
also,
guys.
this is one thing you guys won't notice, but the ladies' washroom lineup is always extremely long. So ladies, make sure
Yeah.
you're hydrated, but don't drink too much because those girls' washrooms are always extremely lined up. So
Yeah.
keep
Yeah.
that in
Just
mind.
stay
Yep.
hydrated, stay fed. Like the guys are saying, just put it in your backpack the night before. I did it with my son James again.
Mm.
Another
Yep.
top tip. I've got loads of top tips for stuff like celebration. I've only done one, but trust me, they all worked. Is if you get searched with your bag for food, for water, for whatever, water I can't see being an issue whatsoever.
Mm-mm.
Food though, if you're turning around to saying, look, if he doesn't eat or I don't eat, I can faint, stuff like that. As soon as you mention anything to do with medical, pretty much guarantee they'll go, yeah, okay, fine.
Yeah, do your
Just
research. Do
think
your
about it as
research.
well.
Come up with
Research
your
the
fake
convention hall,
illness.
have a look. Worst comes to worst, the food that you get, put it all in clear bags so you can show them, look, this is just crisps in a clear bag.
Yeah.
And be kind and
Ah.
courteous to people. That's the biggest thing as well. Be kind to the staff members that are working there. If you're coming across a bit of what's the word I'm looking for, person that's hard work, then they're probably going to turn you away or turn you down. So if you're nice and kind, like I was, you'll get away with certain things. But we'll cover that in depth later on.
Yeah. Yep.
Definitely. Cool. And the next subject, we're going to cover it on because it's about queues and meeting people. Now, we mentioned it off air. I got away with literally, I say absolute murder. I didn't murder anyone, but there's plenty of queues I should have stood in for longer than I actually did. The security at London wasn't brilliant, and there's a lot of things that come out from that. And again, it was just me and my son testing our Jedi mind tricks, and they worked.
Yeah.
And it's how I met Tony. Like he mentioned earlier, he managed to get there because he was Jedi Master VIP. I wasn't. I was just a normal.
How'd you get in there then?
Yeah. But unfortunately, that time of day, my son needed the toilet, so I had to accompany him to the toilet, which was nowhere near the Funko store, which we walked past the toilet to the Funko store, and nobody stopped us. But yeah, and even throughout the days as well at the Funko store, we went there, we saw the Funko Rival stuff, which a lot of people have seen me started posting about, and I got talking to one of the members of staff there, literally outside of the store itself, so I wasn't even queuing up for it because the queue is mental. And I just mentioned to her, look, all I'm after is that Funko Rival stuff. I've seen it, but I don't want to queue up for 2 hours. Chatting to her nice and kindly, waved the hand across, and then she was like, right, go and queue up at the front, I'll get you straight in.
I remember you telling me that.
Yeah,
you're like, she had the hot tea for sure.
I got my Star Wars Rivals, I got my Funkos, and I got Jimmy's Chewbacca. So we all come out a winner.
Nice.
I'm not saying take advantage of people's kindness by any stretch of the imagination. Like the woman, I can't remember.
Jack also had a little bag of candy he was carrying around and offering to everyone.
Yes, which I'll come on to next. So another top tip I did, and it works a treat because it goes both ways. Like I said, these staff members, I don't know what Japan's like, I've never been, but I know how London is, or so to speak. Is I had a bag of candy, all right, and I was giving them only to people that work there. Literally saying how thankful I was, how kind they are, appreciate your hard work. There's a few handful of chocolate or candy, and they're like, really? I'm like, yeah, sure. Talk a little bit more. Oh, do you reckon I can get in there? Yeah, go on, go. Or here's an extra poster. I'm like, oh, come on. So yeah, it works both ways. There's people that are working there. Star Wars probably doesn't mean a great deal to some people that work there,
Yeah.
If they see how much it means to you, you give a little bit back, just being kind, polite, bit of candy, whatever. It does work. I'm not saying take 10 kilos of candy across to Japan because it'd probably be totally different. I don't know what they'll be like. But yeah, manners do go a long way. But yeah, the queues itself, like I mentioned as well, I took a game. I took Sabak with me. I don't know if you remember that, Jim. I don't think we played that actually, but we did. I had like a Mando card quiz game as well, so I took that. And yeah, we just get chatting to people, talking about their experiences. And like Jimmy said, he spent most of his celebration queuing, so I'm talking to my son. I knew he was sound. What about you, Tony?
Yeah, that's probably one of the funnest parts is just staying in line and just talking to people, seeing like what pins they have maybe on their jacket or their lanyards or their backpack. So that's always fun. But like you said, like being kind goes a long way because a lot of those workers don't really care about Star Wars. But if you're nice, like sometimes they'll let you do things that you're not supposed to do or they don't know that you're not supposed to do. So a couple mornings we got in like I think a little too early. And I don't think we were supposed to. And we just tried that every day and it just worked. Because I think the VIP had a separate line, but we kept going in through a different area that I think might have been for staff or whatever. But the lady, you just showed her the badge, walked by with confidence. She's like, go ahead, have a great day. So you never know. And it's been like that at every celebration where you don't know I don't want to say what you could get away with, but sometimes they're not given like clear direction on what to do and not to do. So you kind of test those limits just to see how things are going to be. But every single one I've been to, it's kind of been different with rules to get into the show store or the floor. So really kind of test those boundaries and just be polite, like Jack said.
Yeah,
And
be
like you'd be
friendly.
surprised. Like they're just people too. Yeah.
It's important, like I say as well, because if you do get turned away and you have been polite, the more likely just go, yeah, you're in that queue over there, rather than give me a badge, you're never coming in again.
Yeah. Yep.
What about you, Tony? Sorry, not Tony, Jimmy. Anything to add?
No, I would say the same thing. I mean, just being kind in general is the way to go. So, but yeah, I have a weird thing about following rules, and I could not go with Jack a few times. I couldn't.
Oh man.
It's fine, Jack. You and I can do the sneaking in, and the flirting, and the
Well,
sneaking, and the
yeah.
candy
We'll
giving.
be absolutely terrible. We'll be
Yeah.
absolutely terrible. Next thing I'll talk about then, again, London was full of it, was outside events. There's loads of stuff to do outside the events. Keep your eyes open. There's tickets. There's people selling stuff, doing more events locally. Again, just do your research. Make sure if you're paying
you
as
can
well. Go on, Jimmy.
No, sorry. Yeah, you can get into some of these things too. Like I know the 501st has a big thing, but you can get tickets for it. Like you don't have to be members. Like you really need to do your research. Get on the Facebook Star Wars Celebration Japan Facebook group, and then you can just and then there's also a Discord that's usually pretty helpful.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's tons of stuff. I mean, I don't know any podcasters in Japan. In Chicago, I did. I was listening to Force Toast podcast, and those ladies took really great care of me. They answered all my questions. They hooked me up with some tickets for like the trivia show, and things like that. But then, of course, in London, we were there with everybody as part of Star Wars sessions and things like that. So that was a blast too. And they had their own event. So just keep an eye out for those things and go do it, because it's a fun atmosphere to having a beverage and then talking Star Wars with people.
Yeah.
Just be careful of how many beverages you have there, because remember, you need to the next morning.
Yeah, you don't want to overdo it.
But no, there is some incredible events. Anything you want to mention on that, Tony, about the events?
So Anaheim, I went to the 501st Bash. It was cool. If you could get tickets, they go quick. But London, we had tickets for something, and we were honestly too tired to go. Every day after London, we went back to the hotel. I was like, you guys go. I didn't even want to go to dinner. I was so tired. I'm like, go. I'm going to take a nap. I would wake up, edit a video, and then just chill. Like my energy was gone. So Japan, hopefully it's a little different though, because like, it's not every day I'm going to be in Japan, right? Like I've been to California a couple times. I've been to London twice, but Japan, this might be the only time in my life I go. So I probably will take advantage of it and make sure I do and see as much as I can, because it's freaking Japan. Like it looks so awesome over there. So I will try to do every event that I can, and I'll just have to suck it up and not sleep and take my naps.
You sleep on the plane ride home.
I know. Yeah, exactly.
Nice. Next thing then we'll talk about is merchandise, and it is massive. All right. If you're thinking of going to Celebration and not spending anything, then you're a better person than me. You are going to spend a heck load of money. Whether you're thinking you're going to save or not, you get suckered into pretty much everything. What do you want to say on this, Jimmy? Go on.
Yeah, Jimmy doesn't agree.
I remember, I was saving up for Chicago, and I had like $2,400. And I thought, man, I'm going to blow through this the first day. I barely spent anything. I got my Funkos, got a couple T-shirts, and then, I mean, but there is access to tons of stuff. I mean, I got a hat and a couple of little things like that. But you can go there, like because the tickets for us are going to be expensive. Like that flight is going to,
that's gonna be
take a hit. It is great to have as much money as possible, but you can easily get through it and still enjoy it if you're not walking over there with a couple G's, in your pocket to spend. I don't know what the exchange rate looks like right now for.
It's good for us right now.
Yeah. So, but it is nice because like I have a feeling there's going to be some cool stuff there that you're not going to be able to get anywhere else. And, there always is stuff like that at Celebration. But yeah, I mean, it is awesome to have the money. You don't have to have it.
Yeah.
And if you take your wife with you, she will make you spend more than you planned on. So there you go.
So obviously Tony's massive on merchandise as it is anyway. So he's probably the expert. So Tony, the floor is yours.
So my rule is don't buy anything there that you could get anywhere. So if it's like a general
Yeah.
release, Funko, Hasbro, Hot Toy, there's no point in buying it there unless it's like a crazy price that's insane.
Yeah.
So that's my rule. And like if I could get it on Amazon or at Target or at Walmart, I'm not buying it there. So I try to get just exclusives that are for the show only. And in Japan, what's gonna kill me is the merch store because I'm gonna want
Mhm.
every piece of t-shirt or hat that has
Oh, those
Japanese on
shirts
it,
already.
that says Tokyo
Yeah.
on it, because that's exclusive just to there. So I know that's gonna kill me.
Yeah.
In London, I completed the pin set.
Oh,
So
dang.
I'm addicted. Yeah, it took all 4 days, and like some of those pins, 10 of them are sponsored pins at different booths on
That
the floor. So every day, me and my boy Ricky, we had a map, we had a plan. Day one, we went to this booth and this booth. So as soon as we got in, we ran to one booth, ran to the other, ran to the panel. The next day, the same thing. So we did that over 4 days to get the sponsor pins. We got all the pins in the show store. We bought like 20 blind boxes each, completed the set, and all the extras just traded or sold away for what we paid to kind of break even. So Japan,
Nice.
I will complete that pin set 100%. The total is going to be ridiculous, but you only live once.
That is so
And
fun.
yeah, and like Jimmy said, like you don't have to, like you could bring a bunch of money. You don't have to spend it and buy it all. You
No.
could go and have the time of your life, get a bunch of free stuff from vendors, a bunch of free swag. You don't have to buy stuff, but if you are financially irresponsible like me, you'll have fun at the show store and getting the pins. Yeah, so yeah, it's gonna be a fun time.
Yeah. I found myself in the middle of both you and Jimmy, I think, where I didn't want to spend too much because I wanted to spend stuff on what me and my son James could have with memories. So we brought a lot of the pins with our Secret Jedi Master ticket when we got in early. Managed to just grab whatever was left, and we made like a picture frame. I'll try and get a picture and put it on the podcast. But yeah, so I made like a frame with pictures of the autographs that we've seen, which I'll talk about in a second, and then all the pins down the side and around it. Looks quality. But yeah, the pins are the biggest one. A top tip that I found though with the pins, so there were certain pins I really wanted, like Tony was saying at the booths. Now, go to the booths. They used to say to you, "Oh, you have to spend this much, and then you qualify for it, or you get it with the thing." Not
Oh, that made me
necessarily.
so.
I
That's
used to go to the
annoying.
booths and say, "Do you have
And
this
it
pin
changed.
left?" And they'd
Stance
say yes.
changed. Yeah.
And then
Yes.
I'd just give them the money straight up. I said, "Can I give you just £10 for that then?" And I'd get the pin just like that.
They wanted me
Yeah.
to buy like $50
Bargaining.
worth of socks for the
50
Chewy pin.
pounds worth
That'd
of
probably be
socks.
like one
So I
set,
did it,
right?
but
Oh,
on
I was
that-
so mad.
on the last day though, you saw they changed it, right? And you could just
Yeah.
buy it.
Yes.
Yep.
I was gone.
Yeah.
Oh,
I was gone. And I was like, people, get me Chewy, and I never got them.
Oh.
That was one thing that really made me mad. So,
Yeah. So just
kind of frustrating.
play your cards right. Ask them. Don't go for it straight away unless you're an avid collector. Then by all means, do what makes you happy. But me
Yeah.
personally, on the last day, I left it to the last day to
Yeah.
get my merchandise. I'd have to carry it everywhere, which is another top tip. But yeah,
Mhm.
I was just going to the booths and asking them, "Look, how much for that pin? I don't want your stuff. I think it's rubbish. Give me the pin." Still get my money. So they were happy.
Here's
I
a
did not
candy.
need.
Yeah. Again, the candies worked. The candies
Oh my
worked.
gosh, we're gonna make little candies that say "Explore the
Yeah.
candy." Just give them to everyone.
There you go. The candy still float. The next thing we'll mention is the stars themselves. Obviously, all the celebrities, the actors. One of the reasons what you go for ties in with what I'm going to mention as well as autographs. Again, just planning. The price of the autographs I thought for London they were quite high, to be fair, especially in the
Well,
UK.
I was going to say, if you can see them somewhere other than Star Wars Celebration, do
Yeah,
that. Because
it'll
people are
be-
going to pay a gajillion dollars. Like, we saw Ewan McGregor, right? And it was like a chattel factor. They were just pushing us through. There was like 0.3 seconds to say something to him. And then the next week he was in San Antonio and people are showing all these crazy photos they took with them. He's having a blast or talking with them. It's a different animal celebration versus, but sometimes you're not going to get these people anywhere else either.
Yeah.
So it's you gotta do your research.
That's part of the reason.
Yeah.
So I did my research. I'd got Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor single. Then they'd released it saying they're doing a duel. So I managed to swap it out, pay a little extra for that. I'm happy with because it's quite rare that them two are together as it is. Like you said there, Jimmy, Ewan McGregor, I think he was in Scotland. I think off the top of my head, he was only like 50, 60 quid. But at Celebration, you were nearly at £200.
Yeah.
I spent at Anaheim. I got his autograph and a photo, and I bet you it was close to $700 by the time I was all done.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Did you get a bunch
Yeah.
of autographs and photos, Tony? Did you?
So I got photos. So like Jimmy was saying, sometimes it's rare. Like Hewan's first convention ever was Anaheim.
Yeah.
So the second I saw that, I booked it because I'm like, whoa, he's never done this. So right
Yeah.
away, I didn't care the cost. Like this is his first time. If he didn't like it, it could have been his last, but he loves it. He's everywhere now.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah.
in London, like you did, Jack, that dual photo with Hayden and Hewan, that was the first time ever they've ever done that. And they've only done it one other time at MegaCon Orlando. So I'm lucky that I got it both times they've ever
Nice.
done it, which is crazy. Now it's not cheap, but it's kind of a priceless experience. And
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
when I did it at MegaCon, my t-shirt was our picture from London. So when I walked up, they saw the dual photo from London. And that was such a dope moment seeing Hayden and Hewan just stare at my shirt. They're like, oh, that's so cool. Wow. Like I got more time with them than I should have, but that's just because they were in awe of my shirt.
Yeah.
So that was
Oh.
great. Yeah. So
Nice.
I started my first photo ops ever were at Anaheim. And like I didn't have a bad experience, but the biggest tip is don't do too many in one day. You spread those suckers out. Like Anaheim, I did
Have
one a
to.
day. That's it. London, the same thing, one a day spread out. Because you don't want to have them, oh, I'm going to do all of them on Saturday.
Yeah.
And they're all 10 minutes apart. And you win a panel and you win the Funko booth and everything is the same time. And you're just going to be overwhelmed. So if you do photos and autos, spread those suckers out. And sometimes once you get your time, you can sometimes go in and tweak it. Like say if you get a photo on Saturday, but your panel's that time, you might be able to go in and adjust the time. So that's something
Yeah.
to keep in mind too.
Yeah. Another little secret top tip. I'm sure I don't think I've told you this one actually, Jim. This is a good one. So
Oh, good Lord.
Apple iWatches. You can control your camera from your Apple iWatch if you're not aware. So I know someone. They used to walk around with the phone hanging out the jean pocket or coat pocket, whatever it was. And on your Apple Watch, you was able to take the pictures, but you could see what you were taking on your Apple Watch. So as people were queuing up for certain celebrities or whatever, and people were walking past, I'd be checking my time just in case. Anyway, one woman, and I'm sure it was Katie Sackhoff's agent, clocked it. She clocked it. No, it wasn't actually. It was when I was going for my dual photo. She clocked it and she asked me to take my watch off. So I took my watch off and put it in
So
my pocket.
smart.
But there's loads of little things again. You know, you're paying a lot of money for this sort of thing. You know, so if you get the opportunity, you know, it's definitely there. What you gonna say, Tony?
Yeah, right.
So
Yeah.
I did this at Ocala Comic Con. I met Sam Witwer there, and I got an
Oh, he's
autograph
awesome.
I got an autograph on a poster. So on Apple Watch, there's voice memos. So I just click record, and I recorded that whole conversation I had with him. So you can kind of capture those moments too.
Yeah.
Even if you're doing a photo op, even if you have that little interaction, you could record it and you could play back and hear Hayden's voice or Hewan's voice saying, "How you doing? Like, nice shirt, this or that." So that's one thing I learned from my friend Lainey, that she would record voice memo on her Apple Watch and you get to hear and relive that interaction again.
Nice.
That's awesome. I
Yeah.
never thought about that. That's
Yeah.
really cool.
There are little tricks, like I said. I'm all
Yes.
of them. We're giving them all away for the explorers. But hey, there you go.
Yeah. At Fan Expo, whenever I would be chatting with someone, I always had a friend that was like just, you know, on their phone in the distance. So you can see there's all the pictures of me chatting with Cameron Monaghan, but he's very much like, don't take photos of me unless you're paying for them. So I discreetly had a friend walking by back and forth.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Next thing we'll talk about then is the props and the cosplays. At London, it was my first one, but from what I'd seen from other celebrations, I felt like London was missing a little bit on the cosplays and props, because I know in other celebrations it was wild with the props it brought. Now, what I will say with London, to the Belgian props crew, their job of the main stage was absolutely outstanding. The Mandalorian theme they had was incredible. So big kudos to the guys. On the Belgian prop crew for that. Obviously, my guys, the UKG was there as well. They were repping. Brilliant job as always. I know some guys from overseas came over as well and did some cosplaying, which was good. But for me, the other props in the hall itself, they were okay. They were okay, but I did expect a bit more, I think. What about you, Jimmy?
Yeah, I don't. I'm trying to think about like Chicago and Anaheim versus. I mean, I'm sure it's easier to get stuff when you're in Anaheim because you're in the state
Yeah.
of all that. So I think getting stuff there, and I think there was less cosplayers in London than what
Yeah.
I was
Yep.
used to. Um, Lugging that stuff around is not easy. It's expensive.
Yeah.
I know that like our friend Jacob, he found some loophole and said it was sports equipment, so it would fly for free at one
Ooh.
of his airline. But
Nice.
then I mean, you're risking getting that stuff. Like you said, sometimes things go missing, and you want to. I mean, he's a captain.
Mm.
He's a Captain Rex. You imagine your Captain Rex stuff going missing? Like
Oh,
Yeah.
that would be yikes. So I think you're playing with. I just do Kenobi so I could stuff all my stuff in a bag.
Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, I would say that the props were probably. I mean, the main stage and stuff like that was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I would say that there's probably less cosplayers just from what I noticed. But it was so jammed up in London. I don't know.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
you're right, 100%. There's a lot of
Yeah.
Narkina prisoners, which was brilliant. I was one of them.
Oh
A
yeah, your
lot of
$5
fake
costume that
feet
you
and
got from.
stuff.
Yeah, brilliant. What about you, Tony? Any
Yeah.
thoughts on props and cosplays?
Yeah. So I think Anaheim might have had more, but like they had the studio right there. They had like the
Mhm.
Mandalorian experience. They literally brought the props from the set of Mando there, and it was
I
just put
remember
it in a
that.
truck and drive it right over. Yeah. So London, I'm sure, is more tricky. That's why there wasn't as much. For cosplay, I feel like I saw a decent amount, but then I saw other people's videos and pictures. I feel like I saw so much more in everybody else's videos, and I didn't see it while
Mhm.
I was there. But I
Yeah.
think that goes to being stuck in the stupid panels all day where I didn't get to see as much because I'm 2 hours, 2.5 hours total per panel waiting going in. And that's a lot of people's cosplays that I don't see because they're not going to stay
Mhm.
there the whole time, especially if
Mhm.
it's intricate. They might just walk around for 1 hour and that's it and go take it off.
Yeah.
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 So I'm very interested for Japan because I feel like in Japan they're gonna be so detailed and intricate, and I think they're gonna
Yeah.
come out and flex on us.
Oh,
So
God.
I have a feeling Japan's gonna be very different and a lot
Yeah. I
more
can't wait.
potentially.
Mm.
Yeah,
Japan's already
Well,
2,000 light years ahead of us, so.
and everything. Yeah,
Hmm. And if you guys are gonna bring a cosplay, so I want to. I want to bring my Jedi cosplay. And I'm like even working on it now because I want it to be like perfect. But if you guys are going to bring props like lightsabers or fake blasters, anything like that, think that you have to be in a lineup for at least a half an hour to check those
check it and
weapons.
get it
Yeah.
tagged. Yeah,
So you're walking up and
Yeah.
you're like, we're going in, it's going to be awesome. And then it's like, oh, okay, well, I have to go in the checkup lineup. I'll meet you guys inside. And it sucks. But I loved having my cosplay stuff when I was down in Vancouver for Fan Expo. I got a lot of photos and a lot of good conversations with people. So it was worth it, but plan for that check-in when you guys get
Yeah.
there with your
Yep.
props. Yeah.
Nice. And that leads us on to the last topic before we close out is security. So like Taylor was saying, the props and that, make sure you get them checked. Also, the biggest one about the security, like I say, the biggest thing for me, for everyone else, is security-wise, you've got to look after yourself. You know, you go into these events. Unfortunately, like with everything, people are going to be there because they know what's there and the amount of money that's there. So look after
Yeah.
yourself, look after your belongings, make sure you're aware of your surroundings. Make sure as well, more for London to be honest, is you don't be alone really or anything like that late at night. You know, try not to be alone when you're traveling back to wherever it is you're staying. I'm sure Japan's totally safe. You know, I'm sure people were fine in London. I know there was the incident in London where people crashed it and started stealing stuff, etc., etc. But the biggest
Oh,
thing is just
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
just be aware of what's going on around you all the time. You know, not everyone there
Yeah.
is going to be a friendly face.
true.
Cool. Anything to add on security, gents? Taylor? No, I think
No.
that's about
Not
it, really,
really.
security wise. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, we'll wrap it up there because we've been for nearly an hour now, well, over an hour. Just like to thank you, Tony, as always, buddy. Super, super appreciate your time, mate. Thank you so much for coming on.
Yes.
Super
Thank you for
appreciate
having me,
it.
man. Appreciate it.
Again, if any of the listeners want to find you, Tony, where are they going to find you?
YouTube, Instagram, Star Wars Sith. I think if you can't find it, search Star Wars Sith 66, and I should pop up on pretty much all platforms.
Awesome.
Yeah, and Tony will be joining us on the season finale episode of The Bad Batch, so we're excited for that.
Ooh.
Let's do it. I'm
Looking
down
forward to that.
always.
Awesome. As always, then, Explorers, thank you so much for listening. Please make sure you leave all your comments on our social medias on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Threads. What have I missed? Twitter, if that's still going as well. All Explore the Force, all one word. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and make sure, as always, you share the word out and get the word out there. Spread the love for the podcast. Thank you very much, Tony, for coming on. As always,
Yes,
then,
thank
from
you.
Taylor,
For light and life.
Tony, a little Star Wars quote.
Oh, this is where the fun begins.
Nice. For myself, then, the fear of loss is a path to the dark side.
Uh-oh. And for all of us, we have spoken a lot.
Thank you very much. See you next week.